Okay, so we are given here a sketch of y equals f of x. We're told the maximum there is 1, 3, and we're told there that it cuts the x-axis. You can see that 6, 0, and minus 4, 0. And what we could get asked is to perform a transformation, okay? So shift this graph. So let's look at an example. So for example, suppose, for this one here, suppose we are asked to draw f of x plus 2, okay? Now, what you need to appreciate is that f of x is literally the graph itself. Okay, that's what's created by performing a function on x. So it creates values and it gives you the curve. And it's actually what y is, isn't it? Y is f of x. And if we ask to add 2 on it, what happens is that the y values get increased, right? Increased by 2. So the graph actually ends shifting upwards. So in this case here, if you look at the maximum, we've got x is 1, y is 3. Well, if it's shifted up 2, then all of a sudden then the maximum will become 1, 5. Notice that the x value remains the same, okay? It's just the y values that change. The y values increase, okay? So the maximum is increased. The graph is shifted up by 2 because you're adding 2 on to the y values, okay? Now, where it cuts the x-axis here, well, we're going to add 2 onto this now, so that's going to take us up. So it's going to take us to the point 6, 2. I won't actually know, because this is going to get shifted up 2, yeah? I won't actually know where it cuts the x-axis now, but that's okay. They'd only expect you there to know what the maximum is, and of course the maximum there would be 1, 5. So we do a little sketch like that, roughly done that quite quickly, and you can see then you've got your new maximum because it's shifted up 2. Similarly, if they had a minus, okay, what you're doing then to the y values is you're taking away 3, so you're shifting the graph down by 3, yeah? So instead of it being 3 now, it's actually going to be 0, so you'd have it crossing, what was it, x was 1, and y would be then 0. So you'd have your graph a bit like that, yeah? Okay, so the curve has gone down by the what we've been told here, okay? So it's been shifted down by 3, okay? So it's gone from 1, 3 to 1, 0. The y value is reduced by 3. Now, that's the transformation whereby we're adding or taking away values to the y part. But if you are asked to transform this sort of transformation here, where they say f of x plus 2, now notice this time the plus 2 is inside the bracket. So you're actually adding 2 onto the x value, okay? That means then that we're going to shift across, okay? Because you're affecting the x value here. So the graph doesn't go up or down at all, it just moves across. But what we've got to remember, when there's a shift in the x direction, and you'll know because it's inside the bracket, you've always got to do the opposite. So if it says plus 2, you've got to go this way, okay? You've got to go 2 to the left, you've got to go minus 2 in effect, okay? So what happens then is the x values, okay, you're going to reduce that by 2, so it's going to go from 6 to 4, okay? The 1 there, the x value there, going to go back 2, so you end up going to be minus 1, the maximum rather, is going to be over here now, and then where it crosses the x-axis here, that's going to be minus 6, 0, okay? So we draw our graph as best as we can, and we've got to shift there to the left. Now similarly, if they asked you to do f of x, but this time say minus 3, now because it's in the bracket, it affects the x value, but you always do the opposite. So we can actually go to the right. We can go the positive direction by 3. So you can take that point there, 6, and we're going to make it 9. So we're going to go to 9, 0 there. We're going to take that point, the maximum there, 1, and it's going to go to 4, yeah? So 4, the y value stays the same, and then we're going to take the point there, minus 4, 0, will be minus 1, 0, okay? So we get, we draw a curve as best as we can. I'm obviously rushing this here now, but you can take your time on this. And we get then the coordinates where it's shifted to the right by 3. Okay, so just in summary then for them, if you've got f of x and you're adding a to it, or f of x you're taking away a. You've got to appreciate these are the y values and you're adding a, so it's shifting up, or taking away a, shifting down. And then if it's the changes in the bracket is affecting the x, so you shift across, but remember you go the opposite direction. So you're going to go that negative a, and then if it's this, you're going to go positive a. Okay, right. So one more. If you've got a multiplier outside the f of x, so in this case you're timesing the f of x by half. Okay. Remember, f of x is the y values, so you're halving the y values. Okay, so if that's a 3, then you've got to times it by a half, so it'll be 3 over 2. So what will happen is you'll have a graph like this, whereby the x values stay the same, so you're still going to have 6 there, you're still going to have minus 4, but the maximum now is going to be half of 3, which is 3 over 2. The x values stay the same because it doesn't affect the x values. The y values here will still be 0 because when you have 0, you get 0. Similarly, if you had minus 2f of x, okay, well, you're timesing by minus 2. Now be careful here, because if you times that by minus 2, but if you times it by 2, you get 6. If you times it by minus 2, you get minus 6. So what happens is that the curve gets reflected, okay, a bit like that. So you get the x value stays the same, but the y value becomes minus 6. All the positive parts of the curve become negative because you're timesing it by a minus, and the negative parts becomes positive because you're timesing it by a negative, etc. So the graph actually flips, but the x values stay the same.